This is a warning from the man who controls $14 trillion. The head of the world's largest financial machine says our entire economic system is about to break. Larry Fink, CEO of BlackRock and co-chair of the World Economic Forum, just issued a chilling prophecy. Artificial intelligence is coming for white-collar jobs, and if we don't change capitalism itself, the social fallout will be catastrophic. But is this a genuine alarm bell from a concerned leader, or a calculated move by the ultimate financial insider? Some say it's a necessary evolution. Others see a power grab. Who's right? This is Kenya News Update today, and we're diving deep into the high-stakes war for the future of your job. To understand why Larry Fink's words are seismic, you need to understand two things: who he is and the ghost he's invoking. First, BlackRock. It's not just another bank. With $14 trillion in assets under management, that's more than the GDP of every single country except the US and China. They are the largest shareholder in virtually every major corporation on Earth through their index funds. When BlackRock speaks, global boardrooms listen. Their Aladdin risk management platform monitors a staggering portion of the world's financial flows. Larry Fink isn't just a CEO, he's a de facto minister of the global economy. Now, the ghost, globalization's impact on blue-collar work. From the 1990s onward, the opening of global trade and offshoring of manufacturing decimated industrial heartlands in America and Europe. Towns were hollowed out. Stable, unionized jobs vanished, often replaced by lower-wage, precarious service work. The political and social shocks from that displacement are still reverberating today, fueling populist movements and deep societal divisions. Fink is explicitly comparing the coming AI wave to that traumatic period. But this time, he warns, the target isn't factory floors. It's office towers, law firms, media companies, and tech hubs. The very professional class that believed itself immune to automation. The context is set against a backdrop of immense geopolitical maneuvering. Just this week at the World Economic Forum in Davos, we've seen high-level meetings hinting at this new world order. Jared Kushner, former Trump advisor, meeting for over 2 hours with Russian direct investment fund CEO Kirill Dmitriev. And we have reports that President Trump's administration is seeking a signing ceremony at Davos for a new international board of peace. The stage in Davos is where these forces, finance, technology, and geopolitics, are colliding, with Fink's warning as the soundtrack. So let's hear Side A, the reformers. This group, led by figures like Larry Fink, argues that unbridled 20th century capitalism is utterly unprepared for the AI shockwave. Their argument is built on cold, hard logic. Proponents point out that AI isn't just automating tasks, it's automating judgment. Legal document review, financial analysis, mid-level management, content creation, even medical diagnostics, roles that require years of expensive education and training, are now in the crosshairs of algorithms that never sleep, never demand a salary, and improve exponentially. Supporters argue that the scale and speed of this displacement will dwarf the globalization wave. Why? Because globalization moved jobs geographically. AI doesn't move them, it erases them entirely. They use Fink's own statistics to paint a dire picture. If a firm managing $14 trillion is sounding the alarm, the risk models must be flashing red. Their solution? Capitalism must evolve. This is a vague but potent term. In practice, it means massive, preemptive policy shifts. Think universal basic income funded by taxes on AI productivity gains. Think a complete overhaul of education towards lifelong learning and uniquely human skills. Think corporate governance that prioritizes stakeholder capitalism, where companies are responsible to workers and communities, not just shareholders seeking maximum efficiency via AI layoffs. They point to the social contract. The promise of capitalism was that technological progress would lift all boats. But if AI concentrates vast wealth in the hands of a few tech platform owners while leaving millions of formerly secure professionals unemployed, that contract is broken. This, they say, leads directly to political instability, the rise of extremism, and a collapse of trust in institutions. For them, Fink's statement is a rare moment of clarity from the pinnacle of finance: adapt the system now or watch it be torn apart later. It's a call for managed transition, led by those who understand the capital markets best. But wait, there's another side to this story. Now, let's flip the script to Side B, the skeptics. Critics argue that Larry Fink's warning is not altruism. It's a strategic maneuver to consolidate even more power. They see a dangerous narrative being constructed. The argument goes like this. First, you declare an existential crisis that only the most powerful institutions can solve. Then, you position yourself as an indispensable part of the solution. opponents counter that BlackRock itself is a primary beneficiary of the automation trend. Their entire business is built on scale and algorithmic efficiency. Their Aladdin platform is a form of AI for finance. Their passive investment model has already accelerated corporate consolidation and job cuts in the name of shareholder returns. So why would its CEO suddenly champion the worker? Skeptics point to the World Economic Forum connection. Fink is co-chair of the WEF, an organization often criticized for promoting a top-down, technocratic vision of the future, what some call stakeholder capitalism, that in practice means greater coordination between megacorporations and governments, often sidelining democratic input. But here's where it gets interesting. Critics ask who gets to define this evolution? The very financial elites who benefited most from the last economic transformation. They see a potential for a cartelization of the future. Policies like UBI could be designed to create a managed, dependent population rather than truly empowered citizens. The focus on reskilling could funnel public funds into corporate-led training programs. The call for new governance models could further entrench the influence of firms like BlackRock, which already votes its massive shareholdings in thousands of companies. Furthermore, they highlight the hypocrisy in the Davos scene. While Fink speaks of inclusive evolution, the sidelines feature secretive meetings between powerful political operatives like Kushner and Russian state fund executives, discussing deals worth potentially billions. Where is the stakeholder input there? For Side B, this isn't about saving capitalism for everyone. It's about steering the AI revolution to protect and enhance the interests of a global oligarchy, using the language of crisis to justify greater control. It's old wine in a new, digitally aged bottle. So who's right? Let's look at the evidence. Stepping back from the rhetoric, what does the tangible evidence suggest? The data on AI displacement is still emerging, but the trajectory is clear. Studies from McKinsey, Brookings, and others estimate that between 20% and 30% of work tasks in advanced economies could be automated by 2030, with higher wage jobs initially having more exposure. This isn't science fiction, it's current business strategy. Companies are already investing billions. Look at the statistics from our own list. Investments in AI startups are measured in the tens of billions. A single firm like Anthropic or OpenAI can raise funding rounds worth billions of dollars. But the evidence also shows a stark disparity in who benefits. Consider the Deady December phenomenon highlighted in our sources. It reveals a global economic pattern. Capital and cultural cachet flow easily across borders, creating lavish, temporary party economies in places like Accra and Lagos, bringing in millions in tourism revenue, figures like $240 million or more. Yet, as the reporting notes, the locals don't really benefit from the core wealth generated. It's often extracted by international event promoters, airline companies, and global hotel chains. This is a microcosm of the AI risk, the value created by a YouTube star touring Africa and generating millions of views, and an estimated $5 million in revenue, concentrates at the platform and star level, not necessarily in the local economies he visits. The financial statistics are telling. BlackRock's own growth to $14 trillion in assets showcases the power of scalable, technology-driven finance. Compare that to the average worker, wages have largely stagnated against productivity for decades. The data suggests the existing system is already excellent at concentrating the gains from efficiency. There's little in the historical evidence to suggest it will automatically distribute the gains from AI. Expert analysis from economists like Darren Acemoglu suggests that without deliberate, forceful policy intervention, the kind that challenges powerful interests, AI will deepen inequality. The evidence, therefore, supports the premise of Fink's warning about displacement, but it also fuels the skeptic's fear that the proposed solutions may be inadequate or misdirected. The reality is more complex than either side fully admits. Larry Fink is almost certainly correct about the coming shock. The AI disruption to white-collar work will be profound and destabilizing. To ignore that is folly. However, the skeptics are also correct to view his proclamation with intense suspicion. The architects of our current financialized, unequal global economy are poorly positioned to be the sole architects of its evolution. What most people miss is that this isn't a binary choice between Fink's vision and chaos. The real debate is about agency and ownership. Will the governance of AI and the distribution of its spoils be decided in closed-door meetings at Davos between asset managers, tech CEOs, and political operatives? Or will it be shaped by robust democratic processes, including workers, communities, and nations of the global South who are too often mere spectators in these discussions? The uncomfortable truth is that the current concentration of power in firms like BlackRock makes the former path more likely by default. Fink's warning should be taken as a critical diagnosis, but his prescription cannot be the only one on the table. The evolution of capitalism must be negotiated in the open, with multiple competing voices, not just the one holding the $14 trillion megaphone. What do you think? Drop a 1 if you lean towards Fink's warning as necessary, 2 if you see it as a power grab. For ordinary people from Nairobi to New York, this isn't abstract. The impact will be in the disappearing job posting, the stalled career path, the feeling that your hard-won skills are becoming obsolete overnight. It will be in rising costs for housing and healthcare as investment capital floods into AI-driven assets, potentially inflating new bubbles. It will be in the political choices presented, anger and backlash versus complex, long-term restructuring. What to watch for next? Policy. Will the Trump administration, now in its second term, engage with this? Their focus on a board of peace and bilateral deals suggests a transactional, geopolitical approach, not necessarily a systemic domestic economic overhaul. Watch for which corporations announce major AI-driven restructuring. Watch for the first major political movement organized not by factory workers, but by displaced programmers, analysts, and administrators. The fuse is lit. So we're left with the central debate: is this the responsible elite sounding a necessary alarm, or the financial elite preparing a genteel takeover of the future? The answer will define the next decade. The warning is real. The motives are complicated. The time to decide what comes next is now. Now I want to hear from you. Are you Team Evolution or Team Skeptic? Who do you trust to shape the AI future? Debate it in the comments below. Share this with someone who needs to see both sides of this story. Subscribe to Kenya News Update today for more breaking news.